What would you say then is the biggest universal pain in the world?
Like,
What is the thing that causes the most pain for most human beings?
I'm going to come back to I think it's invalidation.
Invalidation.
Others invalidating them. I think being made to feel like you are crazy, like you are alone. Nobody else feels this. Nobody else has gone through this. What's wrong with you? I think that is the genesis of so much suffering, anger, of war, just on a large scale. I think we react violently, be it to ourselves or others, when we don't feel accepted.
Man,
I do believe that. In part because I've seen how transformative validation can be for someone who was raised or is coming out of an environment that was defined by the absence of it.
Yeah, from a narcissistic relationship or abusive parents or bipolar parents or whatever it might be, right?
Right. Whatever the situation was, like if you were, or even, I see a lot of folks on the LGBTQ, plus spectrum there, and just these, good God, if you look at the suicide rates and the self-harm rates in that population, it's significantly higher, right? Anytime a group is marginalized and made to feel like there's something fundamentally wrong with them, they're not accepted, it just does not play out well for the individual or for society.
Yeah. What about someone that you don't agree with?
Yeah.
But you can still, how do you validate someone, even if you don't agree with their behaviors or the relationship they're in or the life path or the career path, whatever it is.
Yeah.
How can we do that? Even if we're like, oh, I just don't like that, what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't make sense to me. That's not my value system. That's not the career choice I would make. That partner's kind of weird. You sure you want to do that? Like, how do we disagree, but also validate?
Yeah. So again, such an important point. You do not have to agree with someone to see the validity in their perspective, in their reaction. And if you don't see it, then it's on you to figure it out, because every single effect has a cause. Okay. And so just to sit here and say, I don't like reality.
Right.
It's a little, it's what we're doing in those moments. I don't like reality.
Yeah.
And you got to differentiate the person from their behavior as well. I think that's where things get really messy. You had a guest on recently that was talking about this as well. I told you I'm horrible with names. I can't remember who it was. But I don't have to agree with what someone does or even their thought process, but that doesn't mean that I think they are a fundamentally bad person. Like, don't confine people to the crappy things they've said or done.
Right. See it as part of them, but not all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You don't have to agree with that thing, but you don't mean to make they are horrible.
Yeah. And, I think I'm able to say this from I have a little bit of a different perspective, which is, again, that I've worked with folks with some pretty egregious kind of obnoxious behavioral and cognitive problems. And I've seen them change.
Wow.
And so I think from that vantage point, a lot of these quirks and other people, they feel a lot less threatening to me, I guess. I can see them as more transient and less like this is their character, Like it's like, oh, they're experimenting with that. Even if it's been 20 years, I still have a perspective that they can change.
Yeah.
Which helps.
So during, how long was this process for you going through cancer and chemotherapy? How long was the whole journey from getting the news to being on the other side of it?
Well, I just had a hysterectomy in December.
Wow.
So almost 2 years. Yeah. Well, about 1.5 years. It's a long run.
Have you been able to find kind of peace or like calm through the 2+ years of?
Well, as if that wasn't bad enough, I also already had multiple sclerosis.
Oh my gosh.
So the combo and then the chemo did quite a number on my system. So I ended up with like a bit of arthritis afterwards and just pain, just more pain. And I've had a lot of, to the contrary, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I've had a lot of like these why me type of moments, right?
You've had that.
I have. Oh, yeah.
Of course.
MS, depression, cancer, like Give me a break.
How do you find meaning through the suffering or the pain or the sad things that are happening?
Yeah, it's back to one, I can't hate myself for thinking, why me? All right. There's validity to feeling exhausted and destroyed by so much of this. There are so many things in my life that I have missed out on, that I cannot do, that I probably will never be able to do.
Oh, man.
That's just reality. And that sucks. Okay. And I'm not living in Gaza. Okay. There's both of these things can be true. It can be true that I'm suffering and my life has been compromised in some ways. It's also true that it's not the greatest hardship ever experienced. More importantly, I am in a position, or it's on me to find a way to use this suffering, whatever it is, as a gift. And that is my responsibility. Nobody else can do that for me.
Because if you don't see the suffering as a gift, then what happens?
Then it's just an anchor. It's a dead weight. Like, I picture like the old prisons, right? These people carrying around this ball. Like that's what it is.
So what I'm hearing you say, not only as a clinical psychologist, but also as a human being, that the only way to get out of suffering is to find a way to serve something else greater than you, and find meaning in the gift of your suffering.
Yes. Use it to validate others. It is gold in that sense, like that experience that you described of being able to just be like, come here, I get it. Hugging somebody who has just barely found the strength to kind of whisper, hint at this thing. Like, there's only one reason why you can provide that.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I've been through an experience. Yeah.
Because
so I can validate it
in a way that nobody else can.
Yeah.
And that is an extreme superpower. So it's not your shame. It's not, dark place. It is your superpower. Gosh,
that's so interesting that I never really thought about it that way, that you can really turn your shame and your biggest insecurity into your greatest superpower. I never really thought about it that way. I mean, I've been using it in service, but it's not, I didn't think of it as like, it could be one day, maybe not in the middle of the suffering right now, but one day. And it's so hard to think that way when you're going through it.
I know. So the thing you have to think about is like, it's not going to remove your suffering. No. Give up on the idea that this is going to make you feel better. Put that aside.
Yeah.
You have to do it with the sole intent of helping somebody, reducing suffering. These cats have no idea that I have cancer. They have no idea. They don't. Right? But, and maybe I'll feel better. Maybe I won't. I don't know what chemo's going to do to me. It could be horrible. But this will have done some good in the world. That's why you have to do it, just for the sake of improving something, removing something suffering. And if you have suffered yourself, you are in a unique position to do that. Because again, I said, I think invalidation is at the core of so much of our pain and struggling.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.